of Louisiana, and the chemistry teacher had some picric acid, and he decided he didn't want to get rid of it. So it formed some crystals on the outside of it. Well, they decided to get rid of it one day. They threw it in the dumpster. Guess what happened to the dumpster? It blew that puppy, big dog, up. And so when he figured out that's not a good thing, and what he threw away was about the size, it was a little bitty jar about the size of this cap right here. And he had some big old containers of it that were in his lab. And when I talk about crystals, it looks like, you know, crystals on the side of it. Guess what he had to do with that? They had to get the bomb squad from Barksdale to come over and get that stuff out of there. So watch the way that people are storing chemicals at your school. It's not going to be the chemistry teacher who has to deal with it, is it? Who's it going to be? Me. Yeah. Pat's going to get it after y'all get called, okay? So how do you find out the way that you can store chemicals next to each other? Where do you go check?
Material safety data.
Your material safety data sheet. Start next year, your safety data sheet, right? Compliance coordinator, call Pat. She'll tell you. She knows it all off the top of her head. She didn't even need to look it up. This is common glycerin, okay? Find it in any kind of department store. I just poured it in this little pile of stuff. Think it's going to do anything? Then what you have to do is, the reason I'm doing this little chemical now is what happens when you put two chemicals together and they're called incompatible. Kind of like sometimes us with our wives, right? So we won't get into that discussion. We'll never get out of here. All right. So you put two chemicals together and you think, well, it's not a big deal. You know, like he was talking about earlier, the reason that you don't have one person there. If you have one person and all of a sudden something happens in one part of the school you can't get out, you want to do that. So you have something, it's going to happen. So just, I always look at it and go, come on, don't screw up this time. So anyway, but you put two chemicals together. Give you an example at the plant I used to work at. So now what do we have? Was there any ignition source? Did I catch anything on fire? It is on now, isn't it? All right? So that was from nothing more than putting two chemicals together, right? All right? So let's see. What do we do next, Greg? All right. What we talked about. We talked about what are the things that a fire has to have in order to burn?
Oxygen.
Oxygen. All right. What else?
Fuel.
A source or fuel. And then what else? Heat. And then we've got to have the chain reaction to make it all go together, right? What's magnesium? It's a metal, right? Some of y'all may be old enough to remember what happens back in the 80s. What did they make wheels out of on the school cars? Asbestos. What were mag wheels made of? Magnesium. That's what they call it, mag, right? All right? If you have magnesium, we have what are different kinds of fires? A is what? What kind of fires are A fires? Paper, common things, okay? B fires are what? Gasoline, flammable liquids. What are C fires? Electrical. What are D fires? Flammable metals, okay? Now we're not talking about this pie tin. That's not what we're talking about, flammable metals. Magnesium is a flammable metal. How many of y'all know if you have magnesium in your chemistry labs? I bet you do. Because one of the guys who works with me, he used to teach chemistry out of Southwood, so he tells me all kinds of stuff where they used to have it. All right, so we need to have oxygen to have a fire, right? Right. We don't have to have oxygen to have a fire if it can have its own fuel source. Why is that fire still burning? It shouldn't. It's covered up, right? Why is it still burning? What's dry ice made of? No. Carbon dioxide, right? It's got oxygen in the dry ice. So what it's doing, this fire got so hot, it's eating the oxygen inside this dry ice. So it found its own source of oxygen just from the frozen dry ice, okay? So when you putting stuff together that not supposed to mix, then that's when we can have a chemical reaction and have a fire. And this is really cool when you put it in water, but don't put it in the bathtub or in the toilets. You'll definitely get a call later. All right, last one I'm going to show you is the cornstarch experiment. All right, this is regular cornstarch. Where do you find cornstarch? Huh? Yeah, cooking. All right, so I'm heating that stuff up, right?
Yes, sir.
To catch it on fire? Just turn it a little brown, right?
No.
So how can I make that cornstarch burn? Y'all are not going to understand it because I'm going to keep the fire that way. So what do we have to make this catch on fire? This is going to make a mess. So what do we need to have? Oxygen. That's supposed to catch on fire. I just blew it, sorry. Why would it catch on fire? It has oxygen. When it was all together, it was all crammed in together, right? So it was all in there. I'll do that again while we're playing with the first thing. No, we'll try it again. All right. It would spread out. So what are the kind of dust? OSHA right now is looking at a thing called combustible dust. So we're looking at different accumulations. Places that have like wood dust and paper dust and other kind of things. Those can catch on fire when you have enough oxygen to it. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to play with the fire extinguisher simulator. And whoever was the winner gets to have a fancy dancy fire extinguisher. How far back should you be from the fire? Huh? Based on how big the fire is? Yeah. And how fast you can run? All right. About 6 to 10 feet, right? Why don't you want to be closer? You got to get away. If you get too close, what's going to happen? You're going to get burned, right? All right. If you get too far back, what's going to happen? Can't reach it. All right. It's kind of like a shotgun. You know the pattern's going to get too big. If you get too close, not only are you going to get burned, the force of that fire extinguisher is going to push it along. Okay. All right. Here we go. Who wants to be on first volunteer?
Come on, somebody volunteer. Raise your hand.
Come on.
Oh, we got one back. Come on up. Come on. Mr. No, Mr. Wood. Give him a hand.
All right. You just stand right about here. All right. So we talked about the pass method. What's the first thing you got to do? Don't cheat. All right. Pull is what? Pull what? The pin. All right. What's A? All right. What are you aiming? Where are you aiming? The base. Why not? Why are you doing the base? That's where the fuel is, right? All right. The first S. Squeeze. Squeeze the handle. And the last one is what? Sweep. Why aren't we sweeping from side to side? Yeah, you better get a charge of it.
Get your monthly check on them.
You got on there by the fire and you ain't got them charged.
Yeah.
I will look at it.
He checked it already. He doesn't play
That's
first
right.
like that. Right.
That's right.
All right.
What do you think I did?
All right.
Ready.
You gotta let it go first. Nope. It's like, remember that, it's a little laser. Look at that. Knocked it out.
Ain't that those two?
And it's like the, what was that movie, not Terminator, Predator. That Arnold Schwarzenegger movie with that beam, it's those laser beams at the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, that's those simple things.
Now go. That's the bottom. There you go, right there. You did it. Good. All right, good. All right, who's up next?
Somebody else, come on. Come
Left hand. All right. It can go either way. Let's gotta go first. Sweet. 4 point. Oh, still going, still going. All right, good. 10.1. Sweet. All right. So, and he did that on purpose because, thank you, good job. What was when you first think it's out, you're like, sweet, I've got that puppy out. When you gotta wait and make sure it's really out, okay? So what happens if you're shooting at it and the fire extinguisher runs out? Yeah, watch your local news and say, local hero, burn up, trying to shoot fire extinguishers. When do you make the call to call the fire department? Before or after you start using your fire extinguishers? Why? I mean, you got it, right? Do you really want to be the firefighter? No, I want to be the one on the news talking about how I saved everybody and I called the fire department, okay? So, always call the fire department. What if you have a fire, you call the fire department, you get your fire extinguisher, and it's put out. You need to tell them to turn around? No. Let them come on out. Because they just stopped their ping pong game and they're going to really be upset.
University had what? You
Yeah,
had 12
they're already halfway.
12 crews respond to that little fire you had?
All right, who's up? 10.1 is our best
Okay,
time.
come on, get another one. Come on.
Thank you. Get the cheese. Those ain't gonna be able to fire yet.
Sit down.
You got it already? All right.
Don't put it out before it's done. Yeah, you do.
A hard one.
I know. Good try, Mark. He's a bad dude. All right, bad dude with a fire extinguisher. All right, who's up?
All right, another person, come on.
Come on, it's really fun. Yeah, there we go.
You may not have students to put your wires out and play with you. You guys might have to do it.
You gonna send me? Yeah. All right. University? How fat you?
There you go. Good job. All right. It's not coming back? Good. All right. There you go. Good job.
What y'all gonna do this?
All right. Who wants to be another volunteer?
Come on. Come on down.
On top.
There might be a prize for the best time.
That's right. Here we go.
You never know, it might happen.
Sweet, good job. All right. Anybody have any questions on these? What about the K fire extinguishers? Do you use those, or are they automatic, or what? Automatic, okay? Yeah. You have the sprinkler systems and stuff, okay? Questions on fire extinguishers? It's not brain surgery by any stretch. Know where your fire extinguishers are. You all have homework. Go back and find out where you keep your flammable and combustible liquids. Do you have a fire extinguisher within 50 feet of your storage? If you don't, what do we need to do? Pat's going to get 86 work order requests for fire extinguishers after this. But you need to have a fire extinguisher there, okay? That's going to be one of the most likely places. Where other places where you keep your flammable liquids. If you have like the toner, the copier stuff, that stuff's highly flammable. Kitchens, make sure there's one in the kitchen. All right, one thing to think about when you're getting these little fire extinguishers for your home. What kind of fire extinguisher do we want? ABC. Be careful when you get the fire extinguishers. If you go to Lowe's or Home Depot or Walmart and it says kitchen and garage, that's not going to be an ABC. That's going to be a B and a C. It's not going to have an A. Always, always, when you go buy a fire extinguisher, make sure it's an ABC. You don't need a D. We don't let y'all keep mag wheels around your house or something like that. And if you do, get you a D. But you only need an ABC. Even if you're cooking in your kitchen, like that, a regular ABC will be good enough for you. What if you're in your kitchen and something catches on fire and your fire extinguisher is not closed? What else can you use to put it out? Salt. What else? Baking soda, flour. You can get something, the lid of the a pot lid, put that on the top of it. How many people are going to be frying turkeys over the holidays? We're going to do that inside, right? We're going to heat up that oil and we're going to drop a frozen turkey inside that boiling oil, right? We want to do that so you can be on America's Funniest Home Video. When do we do our fried turkeys? Outside. Do we want to thaw the turkey out before you put it in the oil? Why? I mean, what's oil got against a turkey, a frozen turkey? What's going to happen? It's got water in it. It's got frozen, so it's frozen. It's got water in it. All the moisture inside. So you drop that frozen turkey in there, it's going to have a nice boom. Okay. All right. Questions? Everybody good on the fire extinguishers?
How often do you check them? You check them monthly, right? Make sure they're in green.
What happens? How often do fire extinguishers get stolen?
They don't check them.
Daily. Kids like to go and play with them. So you need to go by and make sure
right now, so
part of your rounds, make sure
behind.
your fire extinguishers are where they're supposed to be, okay?
Have
All
a
right.
tree. CMC don't check in. Easter. Who else go
All right.
out there?
What's the next important thing now? Turkey time, right?
Sourwood.
All right, turn it over to
Where you at?
the turkey time.
Tractor stop.
Huh?
The floor is yours. You're done.
Well, mine again?
Yes, sir.